After devouring a whole goat, this huge python faced a serious problem. It was now in a race against time to regurgitate before it was too late. It's completely swollen, as if its body were divided into 3 parts, thin at the head and tail and very wide in the middle. The picture is impressive. The snake is there trying to move after its feast. The task is difficult, and it's more than just digesting. It seems that the python's exhausted body just wants to expel its most recent meal. The regurgitating is constant. The body of the goat inside it is moving very slowly towards the python's mouth. No one really understands what's going on, but they know that what their eyes are seeing is something shocking. The reptile remains with its mouth open and looks like it's really suffering from what it's going through. The thing is, bringing an entire animal back up can't be easy. The process is very slow. There's nothing the snake can do to speed everything up and remove the goat from its digestive system. It hasn't digested it, and now all that remains is to expel it back into the world. The mammal shows no sign of life, and although pythons are poisonous, before swallowing, it probably strangled the goat, leaving it without oxygen. Little by little, the limbs of the unfortunate animal begin to appear. The first to emerge are the hind legs. Everything indicates that the python devoured it head first. The footage is difficult to take in, since it's not very common to see a snake of this size suffering from the fact that it can't ingest its prey. However, the reasons that could explain the situation are actually pretty logical. The first has to do with the fact that the python could have sensed some kind of threat while it was eating, and instead of digesting its victim, would rather bring it back up in order to escape quickly. However, this wasn't the case. There were only a handful of people watching the impressive situation, and they didn't even approach the snake. People know that no matter how unprotected the reptile looks, the risk of danger is still just as high. The elasticity of the python's body is astonishing. Of course, when you see it normally, it has a size that wouldn't lead you to expect that an animal as big as a goat would fit inside it. The fact that it wasn't a hatchling but an adult python makes it even more impressive to the eye. It's nature at its most unbelievable. It's that moment when nothing makes sense, and as horrible as it may seem, you're in the presence of something that it is part and parcel of the life of wild animals. The enormous python has already been struggling for a couple of minutes now to vomit up a goat that won't end up being its dinner. The second reason is the one that makes the most sense at the moment. Snakes vomit up their prey when their size is so great that it's impossible for them to digest them. However much their gastric juices do the job, the process is too slow and too complicated. But then, of course, a difficult decision has to be made, and both the attempt to digest as well as the attempt to vomit become very difficult and time-consuming. This can leave them at the mercy of any predator. By now, practically half of the goat's body is already out of the huge, hard-working python system. At last, the snake's suffering seems to be over, which in the picture appears to be longer than 3 meters. The last section of the goat is its head, the final hurdle of a task that has left the reptile completely exhausted. Snakes are truly impressive animals. They have the ability to hunt huge prey and swallow them as if they were nothing. However, there are also images where you can see that they start to eat themselves, starting from the tail. The reason behind all this is just as special. Many times, it has to do with them not being able to regulate their temperature, and other times because they are under great stress and can't find relief from it. These kinds of images are very striking because, of course, we are used to seeing mammals eating their food, which isn't that spectacular. However, here, the phenomenon is different. There's no chewing. They literally just swallow it and then digest it. The truth is that they don't even have to be live animals. Snakes even tend to swallow eggs of different species. But of course, their eagerness to take absolutely everything can lead to bad experiences and starvation. This type of reptile is a very surprising and special species. Of course, they are something totally different from what we are used to. The brutality and cold blood which with these reptiles attack their prey, whether by biting it and poisoning it, or strangling it like constrictors do, is just one of the many impressive skills they possess. However, of course, the image isn't always of imposing beings. They can also be seen suffering from their tireless voraciousness. The thing is, no matter the size of the prey, for them there is no limit whatsoever, even if they have to vomit it back up afterwards.